Okay, thank you. You are welcome today. We are welcome our guests all over the world, and our meeting today title is My City for the Future. As cities all over the world face increasing change taught by digital transformation, the concept of mid-city has changed as a groundbreaking solution. Milcities integrate major literacy into urban development, equipping citizens with skills to critically engage with information, foster inclusivity, and strengthen community resilience. The webinar, Milcity for Future, invite global thought leaders to explore innovative strategies for design cities that empower individual, enhance civic engagement, and promote sustainability through thought-provoking discussion, case studies, and additional insight. Participants will learn how to align Milcities with United States Union Nation 2030 agenda and measure their impact with cutting-edge metrics. Through this, we are here together to share insight, thoughts, and experience about Milcities and the challenge of the future. So, before I give the floor to our guests, I will invite Professor Felipe for the introduction word. Professor Felipe, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, dear Professor Emmanuel Komikonako. It's my pleasure to be here. Of course, dear friends and colleagues, you are so much welcome to this special session entitled My Cities for the Future in Africa, Asia, Europe, North America, Latin America, and Caribbean. We got today excellent keynotes and panelists. We got today, and thank you, of course, for your presence and share your knowledge with us. To prompt thoughtful reflection in this line, we got some questions, 5 questions. How can we ensure equitable access to media and information literacy resources in urban environments across different socioeconomic groups? What role should policymakers, educators, and technology innovators play in integrating MIL into city planning and infrastructure? How can MIL cities align their development goals with global frameworks like the United Nations 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development? What metrics and indicators should be developed to evaluate the success and scalability of Milcities? How can Milcities foster active citizen engagement and critical thinking in the face of misinformation and evolving digital challenges? These questions are a challenge, of course, but friends and colleagues, you got the floor.
Thank you so much, Professor Felipe, for your introduction. It is our pleasure here to share this moment. And I will give the floor to Professor Jose Manuel Perez Tonero, but before, let me present him. Yeah, Professor Jose Manuela Perez Tomero is a renowned expert in media and information literacy and cultural dialogue, serving as the coordinator of the UNESCO Media and Information Literacy and Cultural Dialogue Program. He is a teacher, a researcher. He holds the prestigious title of UNESCO Chair in Media and Information Literacy for Quality Journalism, and he is a full professor at the University Autonomia of Barcelona. With extensive experience in communication and education, he leads the Communication and Education Research Group at the university. Professor Jose, you have the floor.
Thank you, Dr. Chivas, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
Friends. Let me say that I have not answers. I have questions. During the last century, in our 25 years of this century, we have we have had a lot of changes. Remember, we finished the last century with internet and with the promise of information society. Information society was for us a kind of paradise that able to bring us democracy, freedom, and prosperity. But the 21st century has given another things. If you remember after the terrorist attack in New York, we start with wars, Afghanistan, Iraq. After the Spring Arab, with the last results that many countries are and have not state today. And if you remember the COVID, the pandemic, it was the end, from my point of view, the end of the global vision of the optimistic vision of the globalization. The real fact today is we are living in a world with war is a big problem, inequality is increasing, but technology has the power. There are 2 or 3 authors that are talking about a new situation in the economy. They are talking about surveillance capitalism and techno-feudalism. That means we have a new digital tools that have a lot of power, but this power is in the hand of a small oligarchy that are managing our lives. If you think about the new conflicts in the world, we are we are seeing that a new emerging power, China, in conflict with United States. And this is a new situation that that are making our life every time more difficult. I think our situation now in relation with the research about media literacy and about the power of digitization is kind of deception. We have not the paradise that the discourse about social information give us. We are facing a new problems, but we live in a complete mediatization world. During the last century, we were able to distinguish between the reality and the digital and the virtual world. Today is not possible. Today, our young are living in digital world during 24 hours every day, approximately. And then this situation is changing our identities, are changing our working, our ways of learning, our way we are in relationship with the others. Today, the narratives produced by digital world are more important than ever. Today, the relationship we have through the digital world are more important than the real relationship with the place and with the time. Today, we are living really in a new world. For me, the question one of the most important questions on this new world is how to manage the relationship between reality and no reality, information and disinformation, true and fake. We are living in a new world where media are taking the place of the old relationship among people. But we are not able to manage this world. We are not able to be conscious of the very important change we are living. Then that means for me we need a new approach to this problem, a new anthropology, a new sociology, a new media studies, a new vision about how to explore the new problems, how to manage a world that has changed so quickly and so deeply. Then Milcity is a good concept. Milcity is a good concept because it's a mix in of two spaces: the old space of reality space and digital space. And for us, the big problem we have is how to create a new discipline to reinforce the objectives of media and information literacy that are critical thinking, consciousness, and fraternity, relationship with fraternity and equity. But for that, we need to change our discipline in relation with learning, in relation with sociology, in relation with anthropology, education, etc., etc. I would like to finish my last my small intervention asking for a new research agenda. I think it's very important that every one of us working in very different discipline and places and continents were able to share some priorities in research, because depending on our research, depending on our possibility to create a kind of consensus, scientific consensus about how to manage media and information literacy in the future, we will be able or not to manage our future. I insist that Milcities is a good proposal. We must develop, because it's a kind of new space where we are living. And for me, it's very important that every concept of cities include democracy. And in this moment, democracy is very important because we are losing the strong of democracy, because the inequality is growing, because the power the power around the world is concentrated in a few big companies. And for us, this is the challenge: how to keep the values of the humanity and the values of the democracy in a new global context where digital power is more important than ever. Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you so much, Professor Jose Manuela, for your communication. Yes, you have highlighted many concepts, many questions, and I will summarize in one word. We are living in a world where digital has a powerful solution, but how we can manage it to have a real solution to solve our problem and to have a democracy, to enforce democracy. Thank you so much for what you have shared with us. I will give the floor to Professor Felipe for his contribution before we continue with the next guests. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Professor Tornero, for your knowledge and for your experience. Of course, it's a real honor and pleasure to receive you in this space. Of course, Professor, the point of new geopolitics is very important, because this context is a new context with the integration of the digital and digital reality and physical reality. And we got here new conflicts, methodological conflicts, but two, the conflicts about contents, different contents, different politics, and different actors in this new context. In my opinion, Milcities is very important concept for this new to the understood this new framework. Milcities have, in my opinion, a strong potential for this because Milcities have different agents talk about the citizen. The central point is the citizen, of course, and defend the democracy. Milcities is a very strong model and very strong an innovator model to understanding this new reality. Thank you so much, Professor, for your knowledge and for your ideas, for sharing your ideas with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Felipe, for this contribution. It is very interesting, very accurate. So we are going to have our next guest, Professor Anastasia Psalida from Greece. Professor Anastasia has a bachelor in classic, a master in sociology from Aristotle University of Thessaloniki, and a master in European politics from the University of Macedonia. She is currently a PhD candidate in international and European studies at the University of Macedonia, where she served as a research associate with the UNESCO Chair for Intercultural Policy. Additionally, she is an active member of the Hellenistic Cultural and Educational Club of UNESCO. The topic of her sharing today is transformative education in Milcities. Professor Anastasia will explore the role of the transformative education in fostering media and information literacy within urban setting, emphasizing strategies for empowering community through intercultural understanding and policy innovation. Professor Anastasia, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here today with all of you, the distinguished speaker, and with Professor Felipe Ortiz that I have met in September, and we have collaborated in UNESCO Chair of University of Macedonia. I will try to present the meaning and the essence of transformative education and how it can be implemented in Milcities. And I think that is the answer to the question that Professor Tornero has said before. May I share the screen, please? Okay. Let me.
Yeah, can share.
Okay. Can you see it?
Oh, no. We don't
No?
see the slide.
Now?
Not yet. Okay, now, yes.
Okay. Okay, so let's see what is transformative education.
Please, if you can enlarge.
Okay, let me
yeah.
try it, but
Okay.
okay. But what is transformative education? According to the revised recommendation concerning education for the national understanding, cooperation, and peace and education related to human rights and fundamental freedom, transformative education involves co-created teaching and learning that recognizes and valorizes the dignity and diversity of learners, eliminates all barriers to their learning, motivates and empowers them to reflect critically, enabling informed decision-making and actions at the individual, community, local, national, regional, and global levels, including through approaches such as global citizenship education, education for sustainable development and human rights education, among others, that support the building of peaceful, just, inclusive, equal, equitable, healthy, and sustainable society. So transformative education, according to UNESCO, must pay attention to the quality of the environment, formal and non-formal. Also the school climate, and the local context that affect learners and their communities, and also the creation of nurturing, safe, supportive, and peaceful learning environment where learners feel valued, acknowledged, and included. Transformative education must manifest positive action through cooperation, collaboration, peace building, inclusion, safety, health, well-being, and sustainability. It must imply the adoption of the whole school approaches based on human rights, inclusion, and sustainability, but these approaches must be widening in a whole of community approach, with the non-formal approaches where all learners, as members of communities, can share and exchange their knowledge and experience. And also transformative education must put in place an experiential and explorative learning that involves head, heart, and hand too. How can transformative education achieve all the above? By using the 3 dimensions of education, by cultivating the cognitive, the social-emotional, and the behavioral learning, and by including all forms of education. It means the formal, the informal, and the non-formal. And all these for the transformation of children, youth, and adults. That means that we need a lifelong learning approach in order to empower our students, our educators, and our stakeholders. The basic principles for the transformative education are 4. First of all, the development of critical thinking. Also, the promotion of sustainable values such as empathy, cooperation, and responsibility. The third principle is the education for sustainability, which includes education for climate change, education for protection of the environment, social equality, and of course, digital education, which includes MIL. And at last, the 4th principle is the global citizenship that can empower all learners as citizens and can lead to a responsible action in the local and global level. This education, the one called transformative, as you can see here, includes 3 kinds of education. First of all, the global citizenship education, which means the intercultural education, the peace education, and the education for sustainable development. It also includes the digital education with the meal education included. And also it includes the social-emotional learning, which can cultivate the empathy, the self-awareness, and the awareness of others. But all these are transformative in a lifelong learning procedure, which means that we need also a third one kind of education, the civic education, in order to achieve the active participation of learners in communities and cities, and in order to have the human rights education. Because these days, we are talking about the 4th generation of human rights. All this kind of education can protect and respect the right to culture, the right to information, the right to lifelong learning, and all these are widening or broadening with the right to connectivity, And this right, we need it in order to achieve the ethic of care and solidarity nowadays. In order to implement the transformative education, we need to focus on youth, on educational innovation, and of course, in the professional development of all educators, which means that we need the education for sustainable development goals. We need to integrate the global citizens education in curricula. We need also to use the intercultural participatory approach in learning. And of course, we need to cultivate the innovation and the creativity in education. According also to UNESCO, and the Transformative Education in Action, which was made in 2023, the objective was to lead global efforts for equitable quality education and lifelong learning under SDG 4. The key focus areas are gender equality, resilience, and digital transformation. So the focus for 2023 was the Digital Transformation Collaborative, which has as key goals the sustainable scalable digital ecosystem, the addressing of digital divide through infrastructure and educational training, and it was about a call to action in order to strengthen the public-private partnership for global education, in order to achieve the joint engagement, the improved synergies, and of course, the catalytic funding. Today, we can say that the skills that we can cultivate by promoting the transformative education is, first of all, the analytical, critical thinking, the proactive skills, the respect to diversity, the self-awareness, the sense of connection and belonging to a shared and diverse humanity and planet Earth, the empowerment and the resilience, the decision-making skills, the collaborative skills, the adaptive and creative skills, the citizenship skills, and at last, the peaceful conflict resolution and the transformation of skills, the transformation skills. And now let's see what transformative education can do in MIL and why we are talking about transformative education in MIL. Transformative education, as we said before, is about promoting critical thinking and, of course, democratic participation in urban societies. But why is it important? Because in that way, we can tackle misinformation, we can strengthen social cohesion, we can promote values like equality and intercultural understanding, and also we can link to SDGs, and especially Goal 4 and Target 4 to 7 on quality education and global citizenship. Now, the Milcities also are the cities that can integrate media and information literacy into everyday life through policies, education, and community action. The goal in Milcities is to create informed and responsible citizens. And how Milcities can do that? By establishing Mil hubs, by collaborating with schools, and by engaging local communities. So we can see that media information literacy and digital education is very important. It's very important and very necessary in the digital space where content circulates today and communities form online. It is very important because learners need them in order to cultivate the critical thinking, the dialogue, the media literacy, and the digital and citizenship skills. And also media literacy can enable users to evaluate media content critically and understand the social context, and so make informed decisions as both consumers and creators. This kind of education, MIL digital, can also help build resilience to online hate speech and empower learners to engage ethically and safely online. They can also equip them to recognize harmful content like disinformation, conspiracy theories, polarizing rhetoric, making them less susceptible to manipulation. And all these approaches can foster responsible digital citizens who can contribute to positive societal change by promoting inclusive and peaceful online narratives. So the intervention of MIL is focused on unpacking the architecture of digital platform, on teaching learners to critically assess online information and counter false, harmful, and biased content, and of course, in order to reduce support for exclusionary and extremist ideas, helping create respectful and safe online communities. The strategies and the actions that Milcities can use in order to have the advantage of transformative education are, first of all, the promoting of education, which embed MIL in school curricula and includes training sessions for teachers and parents. Also, the community engagement with workshops on debunking fake news and public activities such as hackathons and MIL Week celebration. And of course, the policies, which includes local government support for MIL initiative. The examples of best practices in Milcities are, of course, the Global MIL Week, the libraries and MIL corners, which are spaces for citizens to learn and access information, and of course, the promotion of intercultural dialogue, which means a lot of collaboration in order to promote understanding and equality. The benefits that can Milcities have from the transformative education are, first of all, social benefits, because we will strengthen democratic participation and we will reduce inequalities through the promotion and the respect and the protection of access to information. Secondly, the economic benefits, because we will enhance digital skills for the workforce. And at last, we will have environmental benefits, because we will have the awareness and the action of citizens for sustainability. And I will conclude with the ultimate goal of transformative education, which is double. First of all, the empowerment of learners by an intercultural engagement and achievement of globalization, which means global and local level engagement, in order to be the agent of change, as UNESCO said, through the redefinition of the relationship between school, parents, and local communities, in order to create a community of stakeholders spirit, which promote responsibility and respect for one another. And the second goal is the achievement of future literacy as a result of the deep learning, which fosters life skills, soft skills, career skills, leadership skills, by transforming knowledge into action by informed learners as citizens. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Professor Anastasia Pasalida, for your communication. Yeah, it was a huge communication, very interesting communication, very informed communication. You have shared with us the topic, transformative education. And I have only written one word. Yeah, the transformative education is concerned to co-create and learn together in order to navigate in our new world that became a digital one. And you said that transformative education let people to take decision, to collaborate, to cooperate, to be inclusive, and to develop equality, resilience, and to make citizens to give them, to let them develop skills. And I have also noted that there is a focus on youth, how we can let them cultivate innovation and creativity. Thank you so much. Before I give the floor to the next guest, I will let Professor Felipe comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Emmanuel Comiconako, and
Yeah.
thank you so much, Professor Anastasia Basalida, for your for sharing with us your knowledge, your experience, and your articles, your books, and your ideas. The transformation education is very necessary for Milcities because we need to principles, like you said, we need we need to know a list, like a checklist of skills, but we need to the strategies to implement this new education. Literacy is education, of course. Literacy is education, but when we talk about Milcities, we talk about the education for all the city, for all the people, students, professors, entrepreneurs, everybody. And for me, it's very important this point, this indicator. We talk in this framework, Milcities, about indicators and metrics, and this indicator is fundamental. We talk about this too in these books. The books these books are the base to this to discussion because this book have people, authors of the all the of the 5 continents. We got here, for example, the introduction of Alton Grizzly. Alton Grizzly is the principal specialist about this point, Milcities around the world, and we got here the base to reflect to move on in this direction. Well, thank you so much again, Professor, and please, your contribution is very important, very necessary. We need to grow together with you and all the presence here. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Felipe, for your contribution. Yeah, we are now going to give the floor to Mr. Michael Ogu, my brother. He's a Canadian, so I'm Canadian also. You are welcome. He's African, I am African. We are together. So, Mr. Michael Ogu is a library and information scientist and independent researcher based in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. His research focuses on the intersection of library management and administration, public policy, and media and information literacy. With a strong background in academia, Michael previously served as a lecturer and librarian at the Federal College of Agriculture, Ishagu, Nigeria. His work brings critical area of knowledge to advance the role of a library and information system in spatial information literate society. Mr. Michael, you have the floor. You are welcome.
Thank you, my brother, Emmanuel Koneko, and my dear friend, Professor Philip Chibas, and every other panelist present. It's my pleasure. It's always an honor to be here to contribute our quota to this narrative, to this conversation about sanitizing our system, our information space, and about forging an egalitarian society for the generations to come. I am making my presentations around fake news as it has to do with Nigeria. I have slides. I don't know if I can share that.
Yeah, you can share it.
Okay, thank you. Oh. Oh, okay. I'm having a bit of difficulty with that.
Okay, not a problem.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. If we can share it, we can continue to talk.
Okay.
Yeah, this.
Okay. Let me see if it works now.
Okay.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. By background, I'm a library and information scientist, as my dear friend Mr. Manuel has already introduced me. But as a researcher, I tend to focus on the intersections of not just library and information science, but media and information literacy and public policies. So, as it has to do with Nigeria's journey to becoming a media and information literate city or country, as the case may be, we won't take away the impact of fake news, which is why I've decided to take us on this little journey on how far we've gone and where we are hoping to be. Introduction. I will start by saying that a man who does not know where the rain began to beat him cannot say where he dried his body. This is an Igbo proverb. And this is a proverb which we were constantly reminded by the late Chinua Achebe, the novelist. And it befuddles me to state that this really translates to what Nigeria is passing through or the rest of the world is passing through today when it comes to fake news. Because fake news is a proverbial rain, one that has caught us on this journey to becoming media and information literacy societies. And the nature of the rain differs from clime to clime. To the place where I live, which is Canada and the rest of North America, fake news can be likened to a light shower that you experience during the spring. While in some other climes, like the country where I'm coming from, it could be like a storm, a heavy storm that beats us and drenches us. And it is one in which we must find a good shelter to shield ourselves from. And it has really impacted how everything happens in Nigeria in terms of information sharing and dissemination, journalism, and everything that has to do with the information community or space. During the electioneering periods, we'll see how it happened, or it has always happened. So much that the former president had to come out openly to try to debunk the fact that he was said to be dead, and to have been replaced by a Sudanese. So, and so many things like that. And these narratives, the issue is not the fake news. The major problem is the impact. And this brings us to this other slide. So the impact is so huge because of how polarized our systems are. Nigeria is a heterogeneous society with over 250 ethnic groups and many languages, and it has a nascent democracy that is also very, very shaky, to the point that it's so combustible that anything can get to it and destroy it. And that is why the fight against fake news and hate speech is a huge one. A picture, they say, is worth more than 1,000 words. In this slide, you see this image is flipped. The image is flipped. The way the image is flipped is the same way truth is being appended. It's the same way our journey to actualizing Milcities goals is also being flipped or being caught up on the way. And we can't get to the root. We can't get to the solutions if we don't look at what are the causes and what are the sources. The information technology is a gift that has been given to us. It's one of the greatest inventions, and it's supposed to serve humanity, and it's serving humanity. But in it comes also this problem, because if you look, fake news and hate speech comes mainly from these online sources, which is the internet, artificial intelligence, and social media. So identifying these sources is also a major way of looking for how we can curb them and find lasting solutions. I've already talked about the impact, talked about how it has impacted the electioneering process, how it has impacted the democracy, not just in Nigeria, but across the globe. Even in America, it was huge. We must, if we remember, the issue about hate speech and fake news actually started in the United States of America. The word became very prominent during the 2018 election, rather. Though it's been in existence, but that was when it became very prominent because it was used and it affected the way election was conducted in the United States. And since then, the same problem has persisted in other parts of the world. Policy responses. Are they baby steps for Nigeria, or are they giant strides? On this program, we've had the former Minister of Education come on board and shared with us a myriad of programs, a number of ideas and steps that the government have been taking. And the question is, how far have we gone with them? What is the level of success so far? And this is where we are. They've not been much done. Yes, there have been legislations, right from even the Nigerian criminal code has a place that addressed fake news. And after then, there have been a number of other legislations, like the 2015 Cyber Crimes Act and the 2019 Protection from Internet Falsehood and Manipulation Bill, which was dubbed the social media bill, which was about the most controversial bill ever brought up in the legislative house in Nigeria. And the bill was able to pass second reading until it was scuttled because social groups and individuals and activists came to say it was a way of the government trying to censor individuals and groups, and that was why it was. But after then, there have been other bills, there have been other acts. But the question is, how far have they been able to address this menace? How far have they been able to address this issue? And apart from the legislation, there have been campaigns, there have been pronouncements. We remember the time Nigeria also banned Twitter for about 7 months. We know the impact, we know the outcry from all around the world and how it was later resolved. But it's a huge problem that up till now, despite all these measures, the issues persist. And that is what brings us to what the solutions should be. What are we supposed to do? A Japanese proverb said that when we fall several times, we should stand on it. Do we need to give up on the fact that we've taken steps? Do we need to give up on the fact that we've put in some things in place? No, we don't. It's actually time for us to rise up and chart some good causes, and this is one of them. We need to take this message out. We need to find a way to have wider engagement. The last speaker, Professor Anastasia, talked about meal hubs. We need to find a way to set it up. I've always campaigned for collaborations. How far are we collaborating? What is the impact of this collaboration, especially where it has to do with developing countries like Nigeria? Because this is an issue that has to be tackled. ITC should serve us. It should not destroy us. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael Ugu, for your sharing with us. You have focused on fake news and its impact on the society, democracy, and all over the system. Yeah, and you have shared with us some experience in Nigeria and in America. We can say that fake news is everywhere, in our home, in our school, everywhere we are. Fake news find us because everybody has his television in his pockets. So the only things we can do, and you have said it, and to collaborate. You have highlighted that the impact of fake news destroy democracy, has impact on the society, politics, and affect all our ways to grow together. So, what may be the policies response? It may come from legislation, company, and our collaboration. Thank you so much for sharing this insight with us. Professor Felipe, do you have something to add before we go? The time is against us.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comiconaco. Thank you, Mr. Michael Otbu. It's ever a pleasure to receive you in this space. Your contribution is significant for us and for all the people. You talk about misinformation. You talk about hate speech, and of course, your perspective is from libraries, and libraries. Your background are libraries, and libraries are are a very important indicator in the framework of Milcities, because the libraries are the memories of the city, are the history of the cities, and we need this the conservation and take care these with these memories. We got now a new actors, we got now new agents, we got a new reality in front of us. We got, of course, influencers, bloggers, digital militias, formatting hate speech and cultural barriers to communication. And we need, in my opinion, we need research about this. We need cultural research, because in Nigeria, the hate speech and the fake news are different, like in Spain, or are different in Brazil, or in Canada. And we need research. We need theorics or theoretical principles to study these different phenomena. The WHO organization talk about infodemia or infodemic. Now we got this new reality, and we got this infodemia, misinformation, many new communication phenomena, and these phenomena affect the elections, for example, the health politics, well, affect everything. And we need new research, new researchers too, and new visions for to study and to understanding this new situation. Thank you so much, Professor Michael Ogbu, Mr. Michael Ogbu. Your highlights are very, very important to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you, Professor Felipe. Yeah, now we have our next guest, Dr. Dinesh Babu. Dinesh Babu is an estimated academic and a researcher with over 7 years of teaching and 13 years of research experience. He served as an assistant professor, senior grad, and vice chairman at the Department of Visual Media and Communication at Amirata Kochi campus. His research focused on mass communication, environmental and health communication, new media and development communication. A prolific scholar, he has published wide in international journal and actively mentor PhD candidates. Dr. Bagu is a member of several academic associations, including the Artificial Intelligence for Media Global Research Association and the UNESCO Media Alliance, and has organized numerous events addressing key topics like media literacy and misinformation. Professor Babu, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for the introduction, and good morning and good evening to everyone. So today's topic is towards the Milcities for the future, where I'm going to address about smart cities, smarter societies, how AI role in urban development and social inclusion from media information literacy perspective. So it is a privilege to address this distinguished audience on the topic that blends technological innovation and with social empowerment. Smart cities, a smarter society. As cities evolve into a smart urban ecosystem, artificial intelligence plays a transformative role in optimizing resources, improving services, and fostering inclusion. However, the success of these advancements hinges not only on technological sophistication, but also on empowering citizens with media and information literacy. So ML is a foundation for informed critical engagement with AI-driven systems that permeate our cities, be it intelligent transportation networks, predictive healthcare systems, or data-driven urban planning. By equipping our citizens to understand and navigate the complex digital landscape, MAL ensures transparency and accountability while mitigating risks such as misinformation, data privacy breaches, and algorithmic biases. AI is a smart cities has the potential to bridge a divides urban, rural, digital, and socio-economic, but only if inclusivity is prioritized. How the before speakers they discussed about this inclusivity, transformation of education. So the socio-economic development will be get into a possible way only through an inclusivity in prioritization, from enabling a digital literacy programs for marginalized communities to using AI for real-time translation in diverse neighborhoods. The scope for fostering an equitable access is immense. In the context of MAL cities for the future, we must reimagine the urban spaces as a hub where citizens actively participate in governance and development. Smart cities should not only be efficient but also human-centric, creating environments where technology serves the people and not the other way around. This involves leveraging AI to provide accessible public services, fostering community-centric innovations, and encouraging open data initiatives where citizens can contribute to shaping their cities. The integration of MAL with AI ensures that communities are not a passive recipients but empowered co-creators for the urban realities. To achieve this vision, policymakers, educators, technologists, and citizens must collaborate to design a framework that align AI technologies with the principles of inclusion, equity, and sustainability. For instance, AI can enhance a MAL initiative by personalizing education, identifying local learning gaps, and delivering resources in vernacular languages. Conversely, MAL can guide ethical AI development by promoting awareness of biases and advocating for fair representation in training datasets. In this synergy lies the promise of cities where technology uplifts rather than excludes. Ultimately, the true measure of a smart city is not in its technological powers, but in its ability to foster smarter societies, ones that are inclusive, resilient, and informed. MIL, coupled with the responsible AI, lays the groundwork for the transformation, making our cities models of innovation and equity for future generation. Let us seize this opportunity to create not just a smarter city, but also a better society where every voice matters and every citizen thrives. And once again, I thank the organizing team, Dr. Felipe and Emmanuel, for giving this opportunity. And the 14 ML indicators, 13 ML indicators, which has been framed and authored by Dr. Felipe, will be a very good literature which will support how we can adapt those kind of metrics into this AI role, where we can convert the smart cities into a smarter societies. And thank you once again for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, Professor Dinesh Babu, for your communication. Yeah, you have highlighted the importance of small cities in the context of Milcity. Yeah, if we are talking about Milcities, it is not only about huge cities, but you need to integrate, you need to work together with the small cities so they can also play a new role in this new world. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. I will let Professor Felipe contribute or comment your communication before you give the floor to our last guest. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Komikonako, and thank you so much, Professor Dinesh Babu, our dear friend of many battles together. My friend, your highlights, your ideas are very clear, very important to this understanding. We need, of course, this framework is very complete and very complex too, because we got here many actors and we got different kind of cities. We got different values, different cultures, different countries and continents. And we need this vision, this integrated vision, to understanding this new situation. For example, the law now is not only of Spain or the law in Nigeria or India or in Canada or in Cuba or in Brazil. The law today is more international, more than to ever, because any crime, for example, from cybersecurity is the crime is here in Brazil, São Paulo, but the consequence are in Italy, for example, or in Bangladesh, in many countries. We need this new understanding of this new reality, digital and physical reality, hybrid reality. And of course, we need the social understanding of the innovation. The professor Dinesh Babu talks more about this. Here, the research is in this line too. A new entrepreneurship, a new relation between policymakers and entrepreneurs and the academy. These new agents or new relationship between these agents is very necessary to build Milcities. Thank you so much, Professor.
Thank you. Thank you, Philip. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Felipe, for this contribution. Yeah, it is very important to share these thoughts. Now, we have our last guest, Mr. Adeyinka Olaya. Mr. Adeyinka Olaya is a distinguished Nigerian artist and writer, celebrated for his profound contribution to African art and divinity. Yes, his work explored the rich cultural heritage of Africa, blending creativity with spiritual and historical theme to illuminate the continent's artistic and divine narrative. Mr. Oleika, you have the floor. You are welcome.
Yeah. Thank you very much. A pleasure. Though I speak from Brazil, Nigerian, being Kaolaya. Yeah, I'm going to speak on security, which we know it's quite important when it comes to for any individual to move around. Security is quite important. Security is one of the indicators of Cidades Mil, a city of UNESCO. But before I go around, I would like to quote. I like to quote the concept. Say, Milcities, actually in 2018, the UNESCO introduced this term to encompass the innovations a city can adopt to improve citizens' lives, making it more sustainable and enhancing for overall well-being. Security is quite important. I have Lagos, where I was born, as an example. I have Salvador over here, where
Saturday.
I also know. And actually would like, to touch a place like San Juan, also in Latin America, which is Puerto Rico. But I wouldn't like to take much of the time. We'll also quote my professor here, because I've used this term actually to make a few of my findings. Professor Philip Shibas, in one of his books there, he said, if you permit me to quote it, he said, smart cities, I mean, I say in Portuguese, that is mil. In his book, he said that the concept does not exclude previous ones, such as sustainable or smart cities, but rather incorporates and builds upon them. I tried to translate to English from Portuguese, actually. It's from his book, from smart cities one of his book I actually went through. Lagos, we, like my other brother, the Nigerian in Canada also mentioned, Nigeria, has been one of the most serious situation the country is here to get over. If you read around, you must have heard of Boko Haram, even Nigeria, the country itself. You must have heard of Boko Haram, how security has actually disturbed the flow of the economy of the country itself. And though Lagos, with about 15 million people living in Lagos, we try as much as possible to maintain ourselves within a society where the security is, I want to say, 5.5%, of a 10. A society where you are not sure if you go out in the morning, came back in the evening. Though the state government actually launched a number of activities for you to always reach the police for instant fight against insecurity. We have the last man, which is your telephone. We have the waiting day, under one. Even in the native language, even with this, we are yet to get closer to what the United Nations, the reasons of Milcities. You know why? But 40% of, I would rather say, Nigerians are actually connected online, have the possibility of having 24 hours internet connection. This actually has hindered the possibility of having a society, a secured society where you can move around. This has affected even tourism in Lagos itself. We also have such in Salvador, Bahia, in Brazil. We are also lived for several years. Though a bit better than Lagos, but it's also under difficulty. The both countries, both cities, let me put it that way, Salvador and Lagos, we have a lot of things in common, which is the cultural aspect of it. As an artist and as a culture promoter, and I can tell you that this has actually been affected. Security is quite important. If you check the metrics of the Cidades Mil City, few of the metrics, we can actually note that only few of the metrics of the indicator would ever put it that way. Quite, or one could say Lagos or some is the social and economic situation. Both the citizens in Lagos, where we have 15 million Nigerians, in Salvador, where we have about 2.5 million Brazilians. Though I made mention of San Juan too, that in Puerto Rico, a place that though a Spanish colony, but belongs to the United States of America. If we check the indices of criminality from these places too, we see that we still have a long way to go for us to be able to meet with the points or the intentions or the reasons of Milcity. I rather conclude this way. I rather make it that way that the cooperative analysis of Lagos, Salvador, San Juan highlights how cities, despite different social-economic contexts, use security technologies to tackle urban challenges. Lagos, though, stands out. Salvador balances with digital and physical security. San Juan, though a US colony, is also doing well. But in summary, the effectiveness of urban security technologies is directly linked to availability of infrastructure, connectivity, and digital inclusion. These, we still can't be proud of it in Lagos, Nigeria, and not so much in Salvador, neither in San Juan. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olaya, for your communication. Focus on the security in our new world today. Yeah, you have shared with us a vibrant experience. Focus on how security must be treated with technology today. You highlight the experience of Puerto Rico, Nigeria, Salvador, and you also talk about Boko Haram. Yes, so today, how can Milcity resolve these matters we are facing in our society? Yes, thank you so much for sharing this experience with us and your question. I will let Professor Felipe react after we open the floor for the guests to add their contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Kobi Konako. Thank you so much, the artist, Adejinka. Adejinka is an artist, né? And the vision of the artist is very important to the transformation of our cities,
Yes.
of our urban space. And we need this new vision, a new form to see the cities, to build new cities. Adejinka Olaya have this vision, have this a new form to speak and a new narrative too. We need Adejinka your contribution, and we need, of course, your research about this, because the art is important, of course, but we need to the theorization, the analyze of the art too, and we need your contribution in this point, my friend. Thank you so much, Mr. Adejinka Olaya. Thank you so much for this disruptive vision. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Felipe. Thank you, every guest who has shared his thought with us today. We want to thank also Madame Aniceto Nove, who is
Anastasia.
teaching us. Thank you so much. Yes, the floor is open to our last summarize before we leave here. I will begin with Professor Jose Manuel.
Thank you, Manuel. I'm very happy to be here to hear your proposal and your optimist. I would like to invite you to keep this with the mediation of Felipe, to keep this think tank generating new ideas and new projects. Thanks a lot. I will talk with Dr. Chivas in order to reinforce this network. Thanks a lot, and my friendship to all of you.
Thank you so much, Professor Manuel, for your conclusion. Yeah, we'll give the floor to Professor Anastasia from Greece. Is she connected? Okay. Maybe she have left for some minutes. Yeah, I will give the floor to our next guest, Mr. Michael Ogu from Toronto. Yeah, you are mute.
Yes, I just unmuted. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. I always love being out here to share my thoughts. And to all the guests, all the panelists, I would like to connect, and I'm so happy for this work, this great work we are doing. To my brother, Egbon Adeyinka, I'm so glad to have you. And I commend this team for expanding the scope of interaction. Having an artist in our midst is very key. And I think we should take it further to get other entertainers and people from other aspects of other walks of life, so that we'll have an expanded, a wide-reaching scope and lenses to it, because it's an all-encompassing discourse. I'm so happy, and I look forward to the next event. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Michael Ogu. We are together here in Canada, so I will meet you next.
Definitely, definitely, I will reach you.
Yes, so we have Professor Anastasia who, is back. Yes, Professor Anastasia, we are at the end of this meeting and you need your last word.
Okay. Let me increase the volume. Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure again for me to be with all the distinguished guests today. I think we have to learn a lot of things about Milcities. The first time I have heard about Milcities was in 2021, when a student of the university in the internship of UNESCO chair has the research about the issue. And she had come in contact with Professor Felipe Ortiz. He had come also to an online conference, and it was the first time that I have heard about all the things that Milcities do. So I believe in the meaning of Milcities, because I think that the education nowadays must be broadened and must be not only in the formal type, but in the non-formal, which includes the communities. And we must begin we must begin in education about learning our students how to be participants, first of all, in their community, in order to be participated in the global community. And the essence of citizenship is very important, and it must be built from education and in collaboration with the parents, with the family, with the community, in order to achieve the globalization, which is very important. And I believe very much the transformative education too. I think that the transformative education must be an education, a kind of education outside the classroom. We have to give the floor to the youth, to the students, to participate, to speak, to have voice, to be heard. And first of all, the education must be inclusive, so that no one is left behind. This is very important. And these days that we have the digital world, it's most important than ever, because our students must learn to communicate and must learn how to use the information they receive online and offline. And it's very important to learn how to be consumers and creators of the information too, if we want to see the change in our society. So that's all. Thank you very much again.
Thank you so much, Professor Anastasia. You have summarized everything. Yes, but I highlight one question: how to be a critical participant in community. And you have said that you believe in transformative education, and we need to focus also on youth. So they must be good consumer and creator. Thank you so much for having sharing this with us today. Thank you. Yes, our next guest who will share one word is Professor Dinesh Babu from India. You have the floor.
Thank you, Manuel, and thank you for all panel members. And it's wonderful to discuss about future of Milcities here. And I hope we will be continuing with this, making a different group and enlarging this network and bringing out the community engagement into this particular Milcities activities and bringing out the policymakers, educationalists, and technologists where we can adapt the AI or artificial intelligence or some other technologies into this to make an inclusive, equity, and sustainability way of Milcities for the future 2030 agenda as like what UN has its goal. And thank you for everyone, and hope we can connect together and expand this network broadly. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Professor Dinesh, for your last word. We need to be inclusive. You need to work together to grow together in this new world where information, communication are crossing each other, and we need to be critical citizen. Thank you so much. Yes, we have our last guest, our artist from Nigeria living in Brasilia. So, a man of the word, you have the last word. Yes, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. I actually have to thank you for the opportunity, allowing me here to just an artist, as a writer. And I will also say thank you to Professor Philip Shibas, brother, who also commended my presence today. Thank you too. Like I must say, security is quite important. We are facing that in Salvador and some other parts of the world. So technologically, if we are to move ahead, can I show you the intent of UNESCO, which is the launching of Milcity. Thank you very much. I hope to be able to participate in more of a program like this. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Olaya, for your last word. Yes, in this context, we need the role of art in the developing Milcities. So your place is with us here. Professor Felipe, we are at the end, and you have the floor to close this session. You are mute. You are mute.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Professor Emmanuel Comiconacol. Thank you so much to all presents here today. It was a real pleasure to discuss these important ideas with you. You are very, in my opinion, very important. We discuss here very important highlights and very important ideas, principles, strategies for the different countries, continents too. And in my opinion, was a very, very nice, very inspiring the presence of the different visions, different professions, and different continents, different person of different continents and different countries and cities too, because the Milcities framework is a new concept and a new form to understanding this reality, this complex reality, digital, physical, or hybrid reality. And we need this research, your ideas, your discussion in this plane. We need to, in my opinion, we need to grow together, because this new reality is integrate the different countries, integrate different continents, and we need peace. The peace is fundamental in this new context, and we got at this moment different wars, different threats, and media information literacy, in my opinion, is a tool to build peace, to build cooperation and understanding between peoples, between countries, between continents. Well, thank you so much again to all, and thank you for this special session, this special moment. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Professor Felipe. Your camera is closed. Please, can you open it is possible. Yeah, thank you everybody for this session. We thank Professor Manuel Jose. We thank Professor Anastasia Prasida. We thank Mr. Michael Ogul from Toronto. We thank Professor Dinesh Babu from India, and we thank also our artist, Mr. Adeinka Oleya from Brazil. And we thank also Mr. Madame Aniteka Nove for watching us. Yes, we are at the end of this session. May this day be the best for you, all over the world, where you are. So tomorrow, we shall be together, work together for this world, so people will know how they can use information critically for the growth of the world, for the peace of the world. You are the best. Thank you so much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Hugs.
Yes.
Hugs. Bye-bye. Hugs.
Bye-bye.
From my heart.
Yes.
Bye.
Yeah, Professor Felipe, your camera is closed.
Oh.
We don't see you.
Oh,
Yes.
sorry.
Yeah,
Bye-bye, dear Dinesh. Bye.
Yes. Bye-bye.